As part of our series on vettalk.biz on the business of being a vet, we're actually joined today from Western Australia, from Busselton in fact, Dr. Richard Lucas on Skype. Hi Richard, thanks for joining us.
That's no problem, pleased to see you.
Now, in terms of your life experiences, what is is it easy to be a vet? And on the other side, what's the hardest thing about being a vet?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I've been a vet now for more than half my life, I suppose. So, and that's my job as a vet. I still really enjoy the veterinary work. Is what I get up for in the morning. The hardest thing that I find is business and managing a business and having to think about how a business is going to run. That does not thrill me. I am definitely not a paperwork person. So that's the hardest thing that I find about being a business owning vet.
I think you're not alone, that's for sure.
Being a practicing vet, I find relatively easy and very fulfilling. So it's now developing the skills that I need to find some fulfillment in management. And I was starting to see some of that when what we've put into place in a number of ways with our staff is showing as happy staff. And that's really nice to have happy people around you.
So what was the crunch point for you where you realised you really had to get some skills, and how did you go about getting those skills?
I've been bumbling along owning a practice, sole owner of a practice, so I don't even have anyone else to blame, for about 12 years. So last year, about June, July last year, I looked at the figures that were coming through and going, is life really worth being a business owner? It's so dire, it's such a struggle to try and just pay off the bills, let alone make any money, that I got to the point of contemplating just chucking it all in and going off and working for someone else. I didn't do that initially. I had been to a few of Deirdre Gelderman's courses, and so I thought, if I don't do something, the whole thing's going to go kaput. I've got a family to think about. So I called Deirdre and said, what am I going to do? And joined up with him as a business mentor, and he's been kicking my butt ever since.
Well, kicking butt. How important is it to have someone who can motivate or keep accountable the kind of people that veterinarians are?
Well, it's very important for me because I tend to procrastinate and put things off quite a bit, especially things that I don't like paperwork. Give me a row of dogs to operate on and I'm happy as Larry, but having to do other things like staff reviews or those awkward conversations you have to have with people right at the back of the line. Working with Deirdre has kept me accountable, and because I'm the sole owner, I don't really have anyone else to be kept accountable by in the work situation. Yes, my wife can do it at home, but she doesn't see what I'm doing during the day. My practice manager can do it, but it's not really her role to tell me everything that I need to do as a boss. So being kept accountable, coming up with ideas and running through them until they're actually working properly has been really good.
Practice makes perfect, as they say.
It sure does.
So what is it about the methods or processes that you've learned that really makes the difference?
I think it all gets back to starting with bite-sized pieces and working through an issue or a problem or a new task that you want to set, some new procedure that you want to do, working through it until it's actually running and running well, and concentrating on that before I go on to the next thing. I mean, you can go to lots of courses and come back with 10 different great ideas, but unless you start implementing them, they're worthless. So it's starting off with one idea, getting it implemented, and once it's implemented and running effectively through the whole staff, then getting another idea and starting to implement that. So I think bite-sized pieces, and having someone to keep you accountable and go, well, this is what you said you were going to do, so are you doing it?
Now, we know vets are clever. You guys do a lot of study and, you're very good at what you do. But is there a moment where, like, a light bulb comes on? Is it brain surgery?
It's not brain surgery at all. In fact, the principles are actually fairly simple, and you use them throughout the rest of your life all the time without thinking. I think it's much more, you just need to get to the point where you go, well, what I've been doing for the last X number of years hasn't been getting me any different results. So am I going to keep beating my head against the brick wall expecting a different result, or am I going to try something a little bit different? And really, it's not brain surgery, it's just consistency. It's just putting the simple things in practice and do the simple things well and do them all the time.
Okay.
I think that's what I've found, is the consistency.
So having a process is, it's a bit like having an analgesic to cope with the pain of all that paperwork.
Yeah, that's why the walls here are brick.
Is it paying off for you? I mean, I don't want you to tell me details or that your accountant's off in some foreign location sunning themselves, but is it really making a difference?
Things are improving. It is a slow process. I never thought it would be an overnight success. But last year I was contemplating sort of chucking the toys out the pram and running away, but I'm not doing that now. I'm feeling, even though there is still lots of tight periods, running a small business is difficult the best of times, I feel a lot more optimistic about the future. More confidence in the fact that if we continue going through these processes, things will continue to improve. And eventually I might get to the place where I can actually have a holiday.
Well, when you can have that holiday, and you deserve it, I do hope that vettalk.biz will be able to catch up with you.
It would be nice.
By Skype again. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Richard.
Thank you very much.
See, how easy was that?